and you should be open to receiving them. In the interest of time, I'll invite you to deepen the breath slowly and slowly bring your awareness to be a bit more alert and back in this room. And when you're ready, you can slowly blink the eyes open and allow yourself to just pick back up with my voice. And now that you've experienced that, realize that what you experienced, as brief as it was, is stored in your body forever. Your brain has registered those moments in its hugely vast data bank, and you have the ability to recall that feeling anytime you want. All it takes is a willingness to receive the beauty and wonder of the natural world. The natural world is willing to share itself with you. What if we lived our lives willing to share a piece of ourselves with it as well? And so I'll close here. I wanted to mention this, that in going about my research for this project, or my thesis, something left a mark on me after reading The Wild Truth, a biopic recounting of the life of Christopher McCandless, the man who inspired the novel Into the Wild. You may have also seen the movie, or at least heard of it. Chris found his life unbearable, a product of the disconnect he felt living as a piece of the puzzle that is our society, as I once did. After donating his entire life savings to charity, abandoning his car, and sharing no goodbyes with his family or friends, Chris set off on a journey for truth. He spent 2 years trekking alone through the western United States, Mexico, and eventually found himself in Alaska, his dream destination. Chris passed away in solitude deep in the Alaskan wilderness. Among his few possessions were a few of his favorite books, among which were a tattered copy of Dr. Zhivago and a journal in which he documented his adventures. He often wrote down his favorite quotes and highlighted one in particular from Dr. Zhivago. And it read, "And so it turned out that only a life similar to the life of that around us, merging with it without a ripple, is a genuine life, and that an unshared happiness is not happiness. And this was most vexing of all." Underneath the entry in his journal in big block, capital letters, he wrote his final thought: "Happiness only real when shared." So whether you share it with nature, or your body, other people, or something greater than yourself, let the conclusion of my work be for you a gentle reminder that a shared happiness has the potential to make us feel at home, so long as we are willing to receive that happiness. Her name is Sugar, and I inherited her actually from my great grandmother who passed away at 96 years old. So Sugar, we call her Shug.
She looks happy in that picture.
Is that picture not the most epic picture you've ever seen in your life? Questions? I think if you have any questions, if not, that's fine too. But questions or comments even are welcome. And keep the flowers. Take extra if you'd like. Yeah.
Can you name the mountain that you climbed?
It was next to Mount Whitney. It was right off of Whitney Portal. The trail was called Cottonwood Trail. Otherwise, it's right off the leg of the PCT. If you look up directions to Whitney Portal, there's a fire kind of road right next to like a small dirt sort of trail, and you can access it. It's right there. It's very clearly marked.
Thank you.
Yeah, Cottonwood. Josie.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
I think I have just more of like a comment, and having not read your whole thesis, I don't know if this is a direction that you go in, but it's interesting that for me, in this just personal experience,
Right.
sitting and sort of smelling a flower brings back a lot of incredibly visceral memories of my childhood and just being out in nature. And a lot of those sort of early childhood memories are like so deeply tied with like the development of our chakras and stuff. And the idea of the nose and smell and earth could also then be tied in with the root chakra.
Absolutely. I teach, in the interest of time, I didn't have enough of it to really introduce myself personally, but I teach kindergartners, first graders, and second graders. I spend 30 minutes twice a week with them after school teaching them yoga and mindfulness, essentially. And it's incredible to be around children. If you have children or family, they just come alive and they see and observe everything. And what if we lived our lives with that sort of fascination that we had as a child and that sort of fearlessness all the time? And we don't do that, right? We're adults. Life gets kind of boring and chaotic and stressful, and we let intellect and ego get in the way. But I thank you for mentioning that. Actually, I do speak about that briefly, I think, in my thesis. I mention it, that childlike imagination, or something like that.
Thank you, wonderful.
That-